Hello, this is Warweasel again. I seriously wish I had a lot more to show you, but again, I am pretty deep in my refactoring. So I'm just going to go in and kind of show you what I've been doing with all of this. Right now, I've simplified my content down to 2 folders, which it was quite a mess before. Right now I have my advanced locomotion system and my interaction system, which comes from the interaction system on the Unreal Marketplace. And both of those are, well, I don't want to say stock. I've taken a lot out of the interaction. Most of the blueprints are gone, or I've removed them. Well, not using them anyways. So, but most of my code is in the advanced locomotion system. I've entertained the idea of just pulling all of my stuff out, but right now I know where everything is and I'm pretty comfortable with it. So I feel pretty good about that. Jumping to the third person character, this started off as just the third person character blueprint with the third person animation blueprint. There's hopefully I haven't added too much. The idea is that if I can make it work on this, it'll be easier to move it to any other system that I have, because it should be fairly character agnostic by the time I'm done. All right. If I jump to the anim graph, not a lot of this is familiar to the original, but this is the original. This is the run, blend space, the jump, jump end, jump loop, etc. Here I have my basic pose, and no big deal there, and then I can modify it with IK and F with IK bones, which I'm not using yet. But right now I'm using the a full body slot. Here's the half body slot. That's, when I reload, I want to be able to move around. When I switch weapons, I want to be able to move around, etc. And then so here I have, my default, and then I have my full body and my half body, which only get called and used if there's an interaction state going on. So it should be fairly intelligent, and hopefully it doesn't add a lot of overhead. Going back to the third person character, there's really not a lot here there wasn't a lot here from the original character. I have, the mouse input, the movement input. There were a couple more, but I deleted them because I didn't need them. I'm not doing VR. I'm not doing touchpads. Up here, I, get my third person NBP, and I keep a reference to it because the character has to know about that. In order to keep my interaction component from knowing anything about the animation blueprint, I hook it up here, and then I bind events to that. So when I start interaction animation, when I end an interaction animation, that's it sends an event which will percolate all the way up to the interaction component. These events come from the my input. Let's see my characters. I have my character interface, which allows me to communicate with any type of character as long as they implement the interface. And then here is my player controller, and this is where I put all my controls so that I don't have to move them along with the character. Also, this is the input buffer controller that you can get off the store. This lets me check for combos, button combinations. So this is nice. It does a quick check. When we're not doing something else, it'll just constantly check to see if there's a melee combo. I try to do it as fast as I can because I think right now that's fine. I don't have any issues with speed. Jumping back to the third person, here I have my event interact. If I'm not falling and I'm not interacting, I can call the interact function. Melee collisions. This is what happens when I hit something. Or enable melee collision, disable melee collision. Event play animation. I don't know how often this gets called anymore, but this was a nice and useful for testing. Set character rotation, which is just something I have to do occasionally. Add an item to inventory. That comes from the interaction component. Combo detected, that tells me what the name of the section it needs to call in the montage. In this case, I can only do unarmed montages. In the future, I will do armed montages where I can rifle butt someone, pistol whip someone. Say event jump to montage section. That's useful for a variety of reasons. Interaction end. This is called when the interaction ends. That's, allows the root motion to get set. This comes from the interaction component, by the way. Draw item in hand, next weapon, previous weapon, item equipped, item unequipped. Still a lot of work here to do. Trying to get this all working. But that's the majority of it. The rest of this is pretty simple stuff. We have a construction script, add clothing. That's something all my characters have. Enable melee for object, just basic functions. Clothing you've seen before, inventory we've seen before. Interfaces. This is important so I can communicate without having to know what kind of object it is, just that it's a character. And here are my, my variables. Just it seems pretty simple when you start looking into it. The interaction component is where the most changes have been made. All I have is a begin play. I can get the owner character as a character actor. Or just, as a character. So I can get basic information from it, such as location, rotation. I have a safe click, and then I have highlight closest, which is, I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but it seemed like a good idea for low priority. Now the important things are I have the interact call and the equip call. For everything else, I need to have half body animations, full body animations. For the state, these are the various state machines, or this is the state machine, or should be. These are just things that happen, basic functions that I need. The notifications are kind of interesting because most of these come from anim notifies. And about 4 of these, and most of these have a positive and negative. So, here I can check add to inventory and remove from inventory. I have one notification for that. It just flips back and forth between whether it's add or remove. Right now I can do basic interactions. Oh, our hands full. Yes, they are. No, they're not. So go. Hands are not full. Yeah. I can pick up objects. Pick up sword. I can do combinations again. Again, all this is based on the really, really crappy animation. I don't want to say crappy. This is actually pretty good, but if I'm going slow, you can really see how bad it is. This was never meant to be used in a real game. Eventually, I'm going to put it on the ALS character for the main character, and then I want to have multiple levels of animations for everyone else. And there we go. Like I said, I kind of wish I had a lot more done. I had a couple days, and I just have not been able to get through this stupid interaction component state machine. Really wish I had a better way of doing it. But anyway, thank you very much for listening. I hope you have a great new year.